this changes everything. We have new insight to the eBay algorithm.
What's up, guys? It's Tony and Christian here. Before we jump into it, please subscribe, like, comment, and hit the bell. It really helps the channel grow and really helps us be able to continue to do this kind of content. But now I want to talk to you about how we've been grinding away, trying to figure out how the eBay algorithm works, doing a lot of research and trying to break this down for you guys and for us so we can optimize our sales and sell more and more and more and more. So stick around to the end of the video. We'll do a quick synopsis and kind of give you a strategy for how to sell more things and take advantage of what we learned with the algorithm and how to make your stuff sell like hotcakes. All right, this next slide is about visibility boosting. How do you get people seeing your listings? How do you get your listings in front of more eyes? So new listings are going to get more traffic. It's just the more new things you have, the better. And when I say new, I just mean newly. It's never been on eBay before. So you take a photo of it, it's brand new, fresh. Also, you have recreations. Like we use Nifty to do that. It basically takes down your old listing, ends it, deletes it, and then puts up a new listing seen as brand new instead of something that is more like a sell similar. Now, if we use Nifty to do that, like we said, if you don't want to use Nifty or you don't have Nifty, you can just kind of think of it as a sell similar situation.
Not quite as good, but still better than not having a new listing at all.
Yeah. So when you think about this boost that we're talking about, when are boosts the strongest? You have to get your listings sent out at specific times of the day. You want to get it out when eBay already has the most traffic, just organically to their own site.
You mean you don't want to do it at like 2 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, you don't want to schedule your listings to be done at a stupid time. And like I said, you might think, duh, that's easy. But we found that a good time is when people are kind of getting off of work after they've already got home, spent time with their kids, eaten dinner, done all that kind of stuff. So it seems that between 6 and 8 o'clock, that's kind of a good time period, maybe even 9, depending on what coast you're on. Like for us, East Coast, we're looking at 9 o'clock. That's like 6 o'clock on the West Coast. So it's kind of a good time period. So you might be able to get away with going that late. But knowing the times that eBay is getting good traffic just organically is very important for when you post your listings.
And we have an extra insight about this later in the slideshow. That's a little bit new information. So we'll stick to that for this, but we do go into a little more depth about scheduling and how that affects the eBay algorithm.
So basically, freshness and having new listings create a new opportunity that you wouldn't have before. So very front loaded. They want buyers to see new listings.
A question a lot of people ask is, why do the old listings die? And to be honest, it's just because of the algorithm. It has nothing to do with the listing. Sometimes it could be the listing's not good, but 9 times out of 10, it's just the algorithm. Listings that are 60 to 90 days often stop receiving impressions. They fall deep into the search results, making them way harder to find, and they lose algorithm priority, like I just said. Now, is this something we can control? No, but it's something that we can strategize against and try to use strategic recreates, price refreshes, and continual new inventory to combat old listings dying and not getting traffic like they should be getting.
All right, so we're kind of going to break down what the difference is between new and recreated. New is obviously new inventory that's brand new. It's never been on eBay. There's no photos of it. There's no previous, existence of it on the internet from your eBay store. It has good indexing with Google, and it has a good signal with the eBay algorithm. Now, a recreate is old inventory that you take down and basically put right back up. It's seen as a new listing because it has new item ID and a new URL. Everything on it is completely different. It has similar algorithm benefit as a new listing. It's not the same as a brand new listing. It's very similar. It's not as good as a brand new listing, but it's still way better than just leaving it in the old inventory and not getting any new impressions on it.
Yeah, the main point of this slide is, if you want to dominate the algorithm, you need to be doing both. One's not going to cut it. If you want to be one of the top sellers on eBay, you need to make sure you are posting new listings and recreated or sell similar listings every single day if you can.
And like we said, there is some more information that we have about recreating and about putting that new stuff, putting the old stuff into making it a new listing. It's not just that simple. There is a little bit more nuance to it, and we're going to get there.
The
I
anticipation
promise.
is
Just
killing me.
hold on. We're going to get there, because if you just try to take all your inventory down and then
Don't give it
recreate
away.
it,
Don't give it
it's
away.
not going to
We're
work.
gonna get
So
to
yeah,
it.
we'll get to it.
All right, now we're gonna get into Google. Now, most of the time when you think of eBay, you don't think of Google, but people search for Google to find stuff to buy. So if you have an item that somebody's looking for it on Google, you need to know what Google's looking for as well. And Google really cares about URLs, freshness, titles and keywords, and engagement signals. Every new or recreated listing is a brand new Google page. So that's going to drive that extra traffic. That's going to really help index your items on Google. What you want to avoid for Google is very large spikes. So say if you're artificially using a software and you're just dumping 100 listings all on within like a 5-minute span, obviously that's going to show a really large spike and say this guy is not legitimate and this is definitely not organic movement. So you want to avoid really large spikes and increasing your inventory.
All right, once again, this is a pretty easy slide, but it is important. Titles that work. Now, it's basically titles that are effective for eBay and Google, that has a lot of clarity, says what the item is, puts that it's men's or women's, and then the size, and then any kind of details filler afterwards. But have the clarity in the very beginning, making sure that people will know what it is and that the search is beneficial for it, and not kind of just random keywords that you know that are good, and putting it in the correct order, like we said. Avoid fluff and stuff like that that doesn't pertain to the item, like I try to say. So here's a good example: Levi's 505 men's jeans, size 32 by 34 by 32. Straight leg, and then you kind of get to the filler stuff after that. But you want to have all the pertinent stuff as far up as you can.
We've also been doing some experimenting with, like during our research, we found out that having, if the item is new, having the word new within the first couple of words seems to be important. Now, we've not actually done strenuous testing with this, so we don't know for sure. Just based off our research, that's something that you might want to look into, maybe testing with your eBay account. But like I said, if we haven't tested it, I'm not going to say do it, but maybe do it.
Yeah, and when recreating, it might help to kind of change the title a little bit, maybe flip a couple words if you can, just so that doesn't see it as the exact same listing. It does have some difference between the old listing and the new listing, even if it's a little bit. Now, that does become a problem because you have to do them all by hand that way. But if you do them by hand that way, they have a better chance of getting seen again. So
So if you don't have the time, so if you use Nifty, and this is just going to get kind of to the weeds here, but we might as well do it. If it's horrible, we'll edit it out. Don't worry about it. But if you want to get the most traffic as possible from a recreate, you're going to want to do what he said, change the title a little bit, and you're going to want to alter the first picture, whether that's change the picture, whether that's crop it, whether that's Photoshop out the background. Um, Google and eBay both recognize the first image as being the same if it's the same. If you're doing a recreate or you're doing a sell similar, if it's the exact same photo, exact same title, it's going to kind of know that, hey, this is just the same listing that they relisted.
yeah,
So,
and we do that by taking a normal front picture and then sometimes taking a closer up front picture where you can still see most of the item, but maybe the bottom of the legs are left out or something like that on a pair of pants, or just like an up close version. So you can you definitely can still tell what it is if you just are looking at it as a buyer, but it does give you the opportunity to have another photo that you can kind of swap out. That's not like, oh, I have to use the back of the jeans because I only have a picture of the front and the back, kind of thing. Gives you options if it gets to that point, and it's just another quick photo. So
so if you want to get the most possible out of your listings in your recreates, you want to make sure that you are doing those things.
yeah, it doesn't have to be big changes, just small changes.
The next slide is timing matters.
We kind of
Now,
touched on this, but we're
this
going
is
to give you hardcore numbers here.
this is just a little bit of something that we like to do. The best traffic windows for us personally are the morning between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, afternoon 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., and evening between 6 and 10 p.m. Like we've said before, you want to post when the buyers are browsing and when they are purchasing items.
Yeah, we try to stick more towards morning and evening. And like I said, it does say one. People think that's not morning. But like I said, we are on the East Coast time. So if you think one, 3 hours back. That's kind of where you get into the West Coast time period. So we do try to kind of vary, and also not doing everything at the exact same time every day. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to list at 6 p.m. every single day, have some variance. Don't do it every day at the same specific time. Maybe do one at 6 p.m. the next day, hit it up at 8. Maybe the next day after that, do it at 7. Have some variance. If you eBay sees you doing the same thing every day at the same time, it doesn't seem as organic. It seems like you're kind of on a timer, and it seems like you're having maybe some kind of software do it for you. It likes to see organic. And we'll kind of get into the punishments that they do for you if that it does think you're kind of using a bot or something.
And we're not just making this up. We're not just saying, "Oh yeah, you got to keep the eBay algorithm guessing." No, it's 100% accurate. You have to have variance to not, I don't want to say trick the algorithm, but to make the algorithm work for you and make the algorithm, because you should be getting this traffic. If you're adding new items, you should be getting this new traffic.
Yeah.
But for some reason, eBay has all these AI bots, everything scraping, trying to find anything that's inorganic. So you want to do everything you possibly can to make all the activity on your eBay account seem like it was done from somebody sitting at a desk organically.
And they'll tell you all this in their all their little spell-outs of how to sell. So this isn't something that we're just making up. So why do we split between two different batches of in the morning, in the evening, at lunch time, and in the evening or whatever? It hits multiple buyer peaks. So somebody that was on eBay at 8 a.m., the odds of them searching for a really long time back again at 6 or at lunchtime aren't as high. So if we can hit two different groups at the same time, not at the same time, but in the same day, then we have a better chance of selling items, which is what we always want to do. It helps Google put listings, crawl out, it kind of index your listings better if you have two separate batch dumps kind of a thing. So not one big, huge batch dump, maybe two smaller ones that aren't like 500 listings all at one time. Maybe one that's 50 to 100, another one that's another 50 to 100, maybe 75 one day, just kind of keeping it organic.
What is a safe volume to recreate? And this is something that we've learned the hard way. You can't just recreate 1,000 listings a day and expect eBay to think that's organic activity. Not going to happen. It will actually, so you'll see, and we've noticed this as well, you'll see an initial boost because obviously you recreated 1,000 items, but as soon as eBay figures out that you're doing something that's inorganic, your sales are going to tank or they're going to plateau and they're going to pretty much stay the exact same.
So they'll punish your impressions not only on just your recreated listings, it'll be
Everything.
all of your listings.
Yes.
So you'll see if you're like, man, I wonder why my impressions are really far down. And for us, we did kind of wonder that, and we felt like our sales are kind of going down. They're not really consistent sometimes. So it was like weirdly, we'd have a day where we got no traffic and no sales. So
Yep.
it was like, okay, the recreating and doing that much every day, so consistent. eBay saw it as a software or a bot and punished us
So
basically.
if you're a big reseller and you sell similar a lot, or you use Nifty, the automatic recreates, make sure you take notes or make sure you really pay attention to this section because this information really affected us a lot. And like I said, this is the new information. This is some of the new information that we have that has really helped us get a boost in the algorithm and not kill our sales. Now, you want to spread your this is only recreates. It's not adding new listings. You need to add new listings every single day. There's no breaks for the new listings. This is only pertaining to recreates or sell similars, but you want to spread them across your weekdays, batch in smaller groups if you can. If you use Nifty, it does that automatically for you. But if you're doing it by hand with a sell similar, you want to make sure that you do it in small groups or batches. And this is the part that we were not doing that we have since switched to doing, and that is skip heavy weekends. Maybe don't do any recreates at all on Saturday, Sunday, and you can mix that up however you want. You can do it during the weekdays, but make sure you have a couple days where you're not doing any recreates at all. More is not always better. Smarter is. You want to make sure. And also, if you have like a 1,000 item store and you're recreating 100 items a day, obviously, I mean, that's crazy. You don't need to be doing that. So it's definitely store size dependent. With a store our size, around 12,000, you want to be at 80 to 100 recreates a day. You don't want to go over that at the max 120, but it's definitely store size dependent. So if you're not sure, you can just literally enter it into ChatGPT or whatever AI you use and say, hey, based off my store size, how many recreates or sell similar should I be doing a day on eBay? And that's a way that each individual person can have kind of a little bit of a strategy or a plan into how they should be approaching their recreate or sell similar strategies.
And like I said, really just wanted to emphasize both sides of the punishment eBay gives you. We kind of talked about the one side, but this side is if you don't do any recreates at all, the punishment is that you'll just that inventory, the old inventory, just won't get seen as much. It'll kind of just get sat back there, where it just doesn't get put in front of people. Because if you, and then the other side, if you think about it, eBay wants people to see good new inventory. So if you're putting up your bad and like old listings that aren't good and you're putting them back in front of people all the time, constantly, so it's like, oh, it's been on for 10 days and it didn't sell, so I need to recreate it, and you put it back up at the top of the algorithm, and it doesn't get bought again, and it doesn't get bought again, and you keep doing that, eBay sees that and they're like, okay, this person is just flooding this inventory up that's not getting seen and it's not getting bought. So they're going to punish you for that, and they are going to punish your entire store. It's huge to know that it's not just your old listings and the stuff that you recreated. They are going to mess with your entire impressions. That's why when you look at it, your entire store impressions are down. It's something that can really hurt your sales. That was what we were talking to before about coming up with a schedule for the selling, the recreating and stuff like that, and for putting new listings on. Yeah, that's really important, but doing it in a smart way, because you can get punished for it if you do it too much. We did it. We did it too much because we always thought, oh, we got a big boost when we did these recreates. So we started doing it over and over and over again. Like he said, you do get that initial boost. So we thought, oh, we figured it out. Just recreating stuff, you're going to get more and more sales. Eventually, you will get punished. I want to emphasize it really so it's driven in your head. It's very important to not do that all the time. But you do need to recreate, like you said,
A
but
lot, not just a little bit, but a
you
lot.
do need to do that. That will help, but you need to do it in a way that is organic and not seen as, oh, it's just some bot doing it to cheat the algorithm. Because if eBay thinks you're cheating them to try to just get more sales, they want a good buyer experience. Because if you think about the buyer getting bad stuff shown to them constantly over and over again, eBay will hate that because they won't make as much money. They're not going to sell, they're not going to get the sales, they're not going to get the cut. So they want good inventory, new inventory that hasn't been seen. So you have to make it to where it seems like it's new stuff that has kind of sat for like 60 days to 90 days, and then you recreate it, and then you go through all that pattern of doing it smart, not doing it in a dumb way like we did. All right, the next thing is price refresh, and I have my trusty pipe cleaner here. I don't know why, but a price refresh it gives a small boost, not as much obviously as a whole new listing, but it does give a small boost. It's used on the stale old inventory. It's done in moderation, not done in like doing it all the time where you're, oh, okay, after 2 days it didn't sell, I'm gonna change it again. You don't have to do that. You can spread it over multiple days throughout your inventory, your older inventory, and it kind of wakes up new listings. Now, it doesn't have to be a big dramatic change. You don't have to go from 50 to 25. You don't have to do that. It can be as small as a penny, just having some kind of price change. Now, do we do a penny? I mean, sometimes I guess, but if it's you kind of have, we kind of
We
will,
normally do a really low amount
yeah,
just to get the new little
yeah.
bit of a boost in traffic.
We always price our stuff already pretty competitive. Now, we don't do the lowest, we don't do the highest. We kind of sit in the middle because we do take offers. Uh, so,
And that's why we didn't used to even do price changes.
yeah,
We didn't know that it was actually helping the algorithm. We're like, well, our price is good enough. We don't need to be lowering our price because the items are good. We don't need to lower the price. But it actually does give you a boost in the algorithm, which is why we've started doing it. And based off the size of our store, we should be doing around 100 a day. And you don't have to take days off with the price changing because it's not going to affect the algorithm like the recreates do.
yeah. So there is sort of a set it and forget it, like list it and forget it kind of method on eBay. Uh, that is true in a sense with your inventory, of that you don't want to just give it away where you price it down to like $1 or whatever just to try to sell it. But you do need to interact with your stuff. You need to interact with your store. You need to recreate. It's a part of the business. It's not just a list it and forget it. You need to recreate. You need to price change. You need to change some pictures if you want to sell more stuff. That's why it can get kind of difficult for some people because there is a lot that goes into it, more than what you kind of think there is. So you do need to interact with your store. And that goes on top of answering messages and answering offers and sending out offers and doing all that kind of stuff.
And we'll
So
show you how to do a bulk price refresh. And you can see how it would be very tempting to just maybe do a couple thousand at a time and just, oh, I want a new traffic boost to all my listings. So I'm going to lower the price of everything by a penny. Yeah, don't do that. It's going to show the algorithm that you're spamming them, just trying to get that boost. Like we've been saying throughout this whole video, organic, 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 organic. You want it to seem like it's organic.
So eBay wants you to kind of mess with your stuff to try to trick the algorithm, but it doesn't want you to do too much to where you're trying to kind of take over the algorithm, where you're trying to take over with your store all of eBay. It wants you to do it. eBay wants you to do it, but it doesn't want you to do too much to where it seems like you're trying to make it to where you have an unfair advantage.
Yes, if you think about it logically, eBay wants you to sell your items so they can get their commission. But they don't want you to try to manipulate and sell your items just because you're manipulating the algorithm. So if you lower the price on something, eBay thinks, oh, this person really wants this item sold. They're willing to lower their price for it. So that's why there's a boost. It's not necessarily going to give you the biggest boost in the world, like we said, but
Yeah.
it definitely helps.
Recreating new listings, obviously a higher boost, but the price changes will give you like a little baby boost.
Yeah, that's why this video is like to dominate the eBay algorithm. Do this stuff. It's every single box being checked off. This is going to be what hurts traffic. We've kind of talked about it, but we'll just break it down so you know the top 4 things that we think hurt traffic on eBay. Massive relist spikes. We've learned that firsthand, like we've talked about before. You don't want to relist 1,000 items a day thinking that I'm going to get 1,000 item new listing boost. You're for sure going to spike the algorithm and they're going to think, wow, super inorganic. This needs to be stopped. You're going to trigger the algorithm. You're going to get poor visibility, poor engagement.
Or your whole store within like a week. So if you have 1,000 to 2,000 listings and you like, oh, I can just recreate them really quick with Nifty, and you get through it in like a week or 2, that's not good either. It's too much.
Yeah, and there's nuance to all this. When I say massive relist spikes, I mean, I'm talking like excessive. Even like it's store dependent, like we said before, but even like 200 a day for like a 5,000 item store, way too many. So definitely don't have massive relist spikes. Like we said, firsthand knowledge. If you're doing it before, don't feel bad. We thought the same thing, but we've since learned better. So we figured we should share that information with you guys. The number 2 thing is same time automation. Automated listings at the same time every single day, showing a pattern. Like every day at 2 o'clock, I post 20 items. You know what I mean? Like, or I do 20 recreates every day at 2 o'clock. Do you want some nuance? You want to like 2 one day, 1 the next, 3 the next? That's why when we told you the timings, we had a range because you want to mix it up. You don't want to do everything at the same time. You want it to seem like we said before, there's somebody at a desk working their eBay account, being very attentive and being very intentional with every single thing that's done on the account.
You also don't want to have long inactivity, whether that just be not listing every day, not putting new items up, and also not recreating as well. You do want to have inactivity. I mean, activity working within.
Don't want inactivity.
Yeah, you want to have activity working within your store. So you want new things listed. You want recreate. You need all that stuff, but it's about doing it in a way that's not excessive and not going to stand out to the eBay algorithm. So it's regular engagement that is necessary to optimize and to really take advantage and to actually manipulate the eBay algorithm, not just think you are. You can also over edit where you kind of do it too often, where you're doing too much changes, too many changes to too many listings. And so it also takes a lot of time to do that kind of stuff, and you don't want to spend too much time doing it because you do have a lot to do in the day. So gradual, small changes like changing the picture, the front picture, switching it with a different one, or maybe cropping it, something that doesn't take long. Changing the prices, but doing it in a small amount, like or changing a couple words in the title, something that's gradual, small, and not overdoing it the same way with the automation and the doing it where you're massive relist spikes. You don't want to do a whole bunch at one time. Small changes intermittently where you're not just spamming the algorithm with changes and stuff.
With this, I think of like a vintage seller who has like $50, $500 t-shirts, and that's all they have on their eBay store, and they go through and edit every listing every single day because they want to sell them, and they think that they're just buried in the algorithm when really it could be the price. This is more for people that have smaller stores and are micromanaging like every single aspect and over editing. It can be one of those things where you can spiral and just drive yourself absolutely crazy. All right, this is a little something that we came up with, kind of a fun thing, but it'll help you
So
remember.
much fun.
Kind of a fun thing, but it'll help you remember kind of the flow of things and how you should be engaging with eBay's algorithm. Number one, new listings create traffic. That's the best thing you can possibly do. Traffic creates engagement. That's people saving. That's people making offers. That's people messaging you. Engagement is going to boost your ranking. So if you get an offer, always reply with a counter offer, even if it's a ridiculous offer. That's going to get you more engagement.
The amount of ridiculous offers.
Yeah, you might get a $10 offer for a $150 item, but always send a counter offer, even if it hurts to do. And rankings obviously going to increase your impressions, and recreates will restart the cycle. Obviously, it's going to be a new listing and it's going to restart the cycle. You want to keep this cycle continually going in order to sell as many items as possible.
Sounds like a lot of work, and it is, but it pays off. I mean, it is a business. It's something that you're going to have to do. It's a proven weekly system, implement a consistent weekly strategy. So it's not something that is kind of, I mean, I want to say it's not random, but it appears random to the eBay algorithm, but it's something that you have figured out with your store, knowing that new items daily, recreating these specific times of the day, 4 to 5 days a week, but maybe taking a Saturday off or a Sunday off, or not doing it on Saturday and Sunday, and doing it at 6, 7 a.m. on a Monday, maybe 8 a.m. on a Tuesday.
And I think a good idea is to go to some type of AI and say, these are my goals. Give me a schedule for a week. And every day, I mean, not every day, but every week at the beginning of the week, generate a schedule. That way, you can just, instead of just guessing and kind of winging it, you want to have a schedule. So I'm going to do 20 listings at 2 o'clock on Monday.
Yeah.
And on Tuesday, I'm going to do it at 1:30. And that way you have your whole schedule kind of written out. You can do it with literally one prompt.
Yep.
And you can do it every single week to make sure you have variance.
So we did it as in like a month schedule,
which is what we did, which is why I said
a 4 to 5 week schedule, where week 1 looks different than even weekly it looks different. Week 1 looks different than week 2. Week 2 looks different than week 3, and week 3 obviously, so on and so forth. To where even not just daily it looks different, but weekly it looks different. So you're repeating the process of randomness, if that makes sense.
And I was actually going to do like give you guys a prompt where you can just copy and paste the prompt into whatever AI you use, and it'll give pretty much everybody the same kind of idea of a schedule. But then I was like, that defeats the whole purpose. If everybody's using this prompt and everybody's doing the same schedule, then I mean, what's the point of doing that? So it's better if you do it yourself. Plus, you'll get a better understanding of exactly what you should be doing for your individual store, because not everybody sells the same stuff. Not everybody has the same number of listings. Not everybody has the same goals, whether that's daily listing goals or just goals in general for your reselling business. That's why it's better for you to tailor it to your individual self.
All right, guys. So basically what we're saying is that you want to have effective randomness in your store. You want to look different. You don't want to look like a bot. You don't want to look like a software that is just meant to do this 24/7 all day long. You want to be still recreating, still listing new listings, obviously, and doing all that kind of stuff. But having a plan and a schedule to do this really makes it a lot better and a lot easier to try to stay in the good graces with the eBay algorithm and not get your impressions docked. So hopefully you can maybe save this video, go back and watch it a couple times, and try to really optimize your own situation so that you can get the benefit and really start selling more items.
And the reason we made this video is because we did some more research.
Yep, we took 2 weeks on it instead of 1.
And we've said, I mean, we push recreating, we push Nifty because we think it'll really help your business. But we also don't want to have people overdo it and overdo the recreates, because we have since learned that is bad for the algorithm.
Right. Basically, we don't want people to see that initial boost of sales in the recreate
and then wonder why it doesn't keep happening.
Right, and then go overboard with it and do it too much, basically like we did. So we don't want your impressions to tank just so that you can keep recreating.
And if you're not recreating at all, I mean, and you watch this video, start recreating, start doing sales similar. If you're a really small store, maybe you don't have to worry. If you have 1,000 items, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
But if you're a decently big store and you're a reseller that's trying to grow, trying to expand, everything we touched on in this video is going to help you. And if you do every single thing, I promise you, I mean,
and when I said, I don't think store size matters. If you're a part-timer and you don't really care, like you don't rely on this income to be your life, you know what I mean? Maybe you don't necessarily need to take a whole bunch of time to do all this kind of stuff. But if you're full-time, even if you only have 500 to 1,000 listings, doing the recreates will still make a big difference. You'll still sell more items. You just can't do as much, you know what I mean, as somebody like us, because we just have more items to recreate than you do. So this information is still very pertinent to all full-timers. If you're even part-timers, it will still help you. But if you don't want to do that amount of work because you're just like, I'm part-time, I'm doing this for fun, definitely makes sense that you don't really need to do all this stuff.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you got something out of this video, drop a comment, like the video, consider subscribing to the channel, guys. We appreciate every single person that watches. Could not thank you enough. We love creating content for you guys, and we definitely are not planning on stopping anytime soon.
Also, check out Nifty. If you haven't, not only does it do the recreates like we were talking about, and you can kind of work your way through that, it also does automatic delist. It also uses the AI to do all the kind of stuff that you want to do with the item specifics and filling out the titles and doing all of that.
And with that, I don't want to interrupt, but I'm going to. We have noticed a significant spike using the AI for the descriptions and the titles versus if we do it by hand. Something about the way Nifty does it, obviously it's optimized to try to get as many items sold as possible, but it uses keywords, it uses targeted descriptions, so it does increase sales by using the AI generated titles and descriptions.
If you're a little weary about it, kind of getting into software, you can go to our website,
resellbrothers.com,
and you can kind of go through our free mini course. Now, some guy talked about us selling a course. It's free. Like, it's not a course.
It's just literally just a bunch of videos.
Just a bunch of videos that go through how to use Nifty and how to set it up, and to kind of how to take advantage of it and to not kind of just go in blind. So you can even look at that to see if you even want to give it a try. Like I said, it's totally free. You don't have to do it. But if you do decide to do it, code Resale Bros, you get 15% off.
7-day free trial.
And you get a 7-day free trial.